Welcome back, everybody. Contenders South America. We've got a great match number 2 here. Hurix and Lemon Kiwi bringing you all that action. It's Pain Gaming versus Predators. And the analyst desk already rounded this up. This is second place Pain Gaming versus last place Predators, where at this point we hope Predators can put up a better performance than they did last season and prove themselves here this season as well.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle for them. I mean, going from last season where they were 0-5 and now having a little bit of a struggle as well this season where they haven't won a series yet. They've only gotten one map win themselves so far, whereas Pain Gaming has looked a lot better. I mean, this is what we're talking about, a top team in this group, I would have to say. I mean, certainly have some really strong players on this team. You're looking at Muriz, you're looking at Fasty, two guys that made that Brazilian top 12 for the World Cup team. So definitely looking at those guys to have a performance for Pain.
Pain Gaming coming out with the GOATs. It's actually GOATs versus a slightly modified GOATs with the Hanzo from Sam. And you could see this battle taking place on server side. Reinhardt versus Reinhardt. Such an important shield bash onto Rampant Rhino. How does this guy have Earth Shatter in the first fight? This is insane. They're rolling through them like butter.
The enabling of the Reinhardt is one of the biggest things about a GOATS comp that you could possibly look at, because, getting that Earth Shatter quick, allowing Leviathan to set up with the shield bash, open things up with the Earth Shatter. I mean, it's plays like that that's going to allow Pain to get ahead early.
Sam from the Hanzo to the Junkrat, and actually Coalescence already from Apollo had to heal so many people, but they break through that initial choke. You can see even Shadow Sound still at the back messing things up, but it's Rampant Rhino's turn for an Earth Shatter. It's utter chaos in this room. Can Predators break out of it? They're actually, Rampant Rhino gets so low, it's Shadow Song getting an upper hand, but it's a Graviton trapping all of Pain Gaming, who survived the ordeal. They decide to back off with the picks that they needed. Predators take yet again another fight.
Not only did Shockwave, throw out and expend that Graviton Surge, but they also didn't have any follow-up for it. They were already on the back foot. There was no way that they were going to be able to follow through on that. There was no way that they were going to have the pressure to take down Pain Gaming, who had so many options already. And now, looking forward, Graviton ready now for Muriz, for Pain. It's all going to be down to this right here. They could easily make a stop in this doorway.
And the Rip Tire from Sam going through the other side. Oh, the Fire Strike almost catches it. Look how it pushes Pain Gaming back. It gets behind Shadow Song, but they don't have a mercy to resurrect that. It's all up to Pain Gaming to just stall this one out until Shadow Song brings out. And there's a Graviton Sound Barrier, though, from Unreal. Can this keep them up? Not against Fasty's triple self-destruct. It was Rampant Rhino that didn't turn his shield around. Fasty popping off. Everyone on Pain Gaming is on fire. Shadow Song is back to the fight. And although this was a huge investment of ultimates from Predators, they don't manage to retake the point.
Oh, they're trying to get aggressive, and that allows the Earth Shatter to come through as well. Shadow Song with the second one of this round as well. They're already sitting at 90% and looking to find some last-second cleave-down kills.
They need to go now. Pain Gaming have already lost 2 members. Predators need to react. A couple more seconds. 98, 99. Is anyone there to touch from Predators? Unreal was almost there. Hurix, we're going to start off with the 100-0 map for Pain Gaming.
And this is kind of actually what we expected. Pain Gaming to get off to a quick start. It's going to take some time, I think, for Predators to find their groove, allow themselves to figure things out, find ways to try to get into Pain Gaming's head. But I don't think that that's going to happen very quickly here. Pain Gaming is just a really solid team. You can see that they're playing cohesively. When they bring out a comp like that GOATS comp, that style, that really kind of, you need to have that synergy. It's something that we were missing a little bit of actually in our last series, but now seeing Pain Gaming stepping up and showing that, there is some coordination there, especially in regards to Leviathan, Fasty, and Shadow Song. That's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to this dive. It's dive fair versus Widow on both sides. Mirror comps going in, but you can see it's going to be all about that middle map control to start.
We already see Sam up top. They're going to be taking these two on. Muriz goes off the side, and it's a res. So actually, Unreal kind of switches the momentum back into Predator's favor here.
You can see the picks have already pushed Pain Gaming back, and this will put Predators in a driver's seat. But they lost Rampant Rhino. Pain Gaming looking to react on this. They did resurrect Leviathan, so now they can start putting DPS pressure there on the last remaining tank of Mikla. You can see Pain Gaming now coming through across the bridge. Only a couple percentage here for Predators. As you can see, Predators now rotating towards the back of the point. They want to enable their snipers, their long-range DPS. Pain Gaming looking for the same scenario as they try to pressure this middle map. Sam is getting pressure from all angles, mainly a fair on top of him. He hits the shots to take out Mirrors on the other side, weakening the front line of Pain Gaming as Predators have won yet another fight.
Pain Gaming have been actually struggling to find that opening pick. With this composition, they're really kind of relying on Muriz and even in some regards Leviathan to set things up so that their dive can have some potency, some lethality to it. And so far we haven't seen that until just now. Muriz finding a double to open things up.
Pain Gaming going in yet again. They've got the picks. The Transcendence comes out from Apollo. Big questionable. There's only one tank really getting value from that. But it will stall this point here as Pain Gaming haven't even flipped it over yet. As Pain Gaming are actually rotated outside of the point. You can see Shadow Song finally going for that capture. Self-destruct from a triple kill. Catches Pain Gaming supports off guard.
And now we're going to see them looking to hold out here. We see Rampant Rhino with control. There's the res as well to Sam, and they do maintain it for now. And looking forward, I mean, Pain Gaming had the opportunity off of the back of that double kill from Muriz, but they weren't able to solidify it, and it was heroic plays from the Diva that kept that dream alive for Predators here.
And this is getting to the 85%, like Pain Gaming. This is last fight territory for them, or we will go into a map 3 of Li Zhang. Tons of ultimates online, barrages from both sides. The infosight will start here for Shockwave. They know exactly where Pain are coming from. Nice dinks here from Muriz. 1-1 trade, but Pain Gaming lost their DPS. They lost their Diva, and Sam reigns in the triple barrage for the remaining reinforcements. And we were not expecting this here. It's 100-0 for Predators in map 2.
Tons of triple kills. I mean, we saw it from Fasty, we saw it from Mikla, we saw it even from Muriz, I believe, there as well towards that middle section of the map. I mean, where you got that double pick, was able to help out with the third. And I mean, seeing things like that is what's going to allow Predators to come back into this one. They have to be clutch, because honestly, when you look at the synergy between these two teams, we've seen some things with Predators Esports that actually have looked really good. I mean, Rampant Rhino has been helping a lot with the Widow duel by throwing down a barrier on top of Shockwave so that he can actually take the fight to Muriz, and that has been something of distress actually for Muriz in that duel. Although then it becomes a question of, you know, do you need that barrier later on? Obviously this time it's a no.
And there's a big difference in compositions coming into this one. Dive versus Deathball from Predators. Both teams focusing on the middle map, not rotating really towards the point quite yet. Pain Gaming, you see Leviathan trying to have an angle. Does use a concussive blast to move Rampant Rhino a little bit more forward. But does Shadow Song really want to mess with that close range? Pain Gaming have also rotated some DPS towards the point. It's a very split and disorganized setup here from Pain Gaming.
You see Sam oftentimes taking these, you know, really wide angles up in the sky, really high, just really far away from the fight, but really just putting some pressure up and then suppressing the tanks. That's really been what he's about, as they have control. Once again, it's Shockwave though who's been pushing out the damage here, finding pick after pick, and again with the res, they look so stable in these situations.
And Predators are going to stabilize right here, while as Pain Gaming, they have the dive, but they haven't really initiated anything yet in close range. Shadow Song can't do much against Rampant Rhino. I'd love to see Shadow Song bring out the Reinhardt versus Rampant Rhino, where Shadow Song was a much stronger Reinhardt back on Control Center.
Leviathan here. I mean, we're talking about one of those World Cup players for Argentina last World Cup, and obviously a lot of talent here, but he really needs to show up in a big way, because Sam and Shockwave have been putting out so much pressure in these last 2 rounds here. It's only been the GOATS comp that has really worked out for Pain so far, but there's an opening start here for Leviathan.
Gotta prevent that resurrect. Pain Gaming have middle map control, now rotating towards the point. This is where it's gonna get a little ugly. You're going into with Deathball. Rainbow Rhino's not gonna let go of that left click, but the Primal Rage will sustain Shadow Song, maybe. And actually with Leviathan's damage, they're able to finish that off quite easily, as the point flips for 64% for Predators.
And now they need to get themselves into those positions. Now Muriz needs to step up and be able to take on Shockwave, who's really had a good time of it so far. This time won't be supported by that barrier like we saw on Garden, so really has to get a good position so he can take that off angle, find a good way in. But there's Rampant Rhino starting things off with an Earth Shatter.
Oh, but there's Wings with the Transcendence. It does keep Fasty in mech as an equal Valkyrie invested from the other side. Valkyrie now tons of support ultimates coming in for Pain Gaming. Now they need to convert this into a fight win, but the point is actually getting flipped here for Predators as Pain Gaming have lost the sort of number advantage they needed as a Graviton launch from Mikla along with a barrage from Sam gets mostly Matrix as Pain Gaming look like they want to keep engaging this without their tank numbers. 70% and growing for Predators. Li Zhang just might go for Predators.
And we saw a potential retake off the back of a barrage, but they still don't have control. They're still throwing everything that they have against what is a Predators controlled point, what is heavily in favor in terms of numbers, a Predators controlled point. So I'm not sure about some of the decisions that they've made. They've wasted a lot of time actually, all said and done here.
As the last engagement, 95% for Predators. Pain Gaming cannot afford to lose any numbers. Rampant Rhino is going to ward Shadow Song off. You can see Pain Gaming are outside of the point. Overtime is dwindling away. And is there anyone to touch? Leviathan had actually gotten picks. And I can't believe I'm saying this, Yurix, but Predators have taken a map from Pain Gaming.
Yeah, Predators, I mean, to be able to come through like that and have that kind of performance, especially from their DPS. I think it was their DPS that really stepped things up. And actually Rampant Rhino, who in my opinion has been a little bit of a question mark for this team. He came from T3, he was on a lot of the teams that you saw with like Insomniac, who's now kind of playing at the Contenders level himself as a support player. I believe the last team I saw him on with T3 NA was like Lunatic High playing at that level. But this is a guy that I think has now stepped up in this third round of games here because he's really kind of helped support his DPS line that have been enabled now to be able to find those picks, find those kills, and move forward.
It just felt like Deathball versus Dive. I mean, Dive would be good if you would focus on the middle map and just dive the other team, but it felt like Predators were playing more around the point where Rampant Rhino, all he had to do was really take down his left click, and I felt like Shadow Song was always trying to go after Reinhardt without much support. And Winston versus Reinhardt, that's not going to work out unless you had support from Leviathan. And really, the only time that they took out Rampant Rhino was when Leviathan was assisting with those kills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you look certainly at, you know, Fasty and Muriz, who are guys that you really kind of need to see step up. Yes, they had some flashy moments, but certainly moving forward towards, you know, the latter half of that map, it was kind of one of those things where it was like they weren't stepping up in that same fashion. In fact, it was the other side of things where Predator Esports, again, Sam and absolutely, I would have to put, you know, some of that onto Shockwave, especially on the Widow, where he was able to find a lot of those picks. He was actually shutting down Muriz a lot of the time, and I think that's a big reason why they were able to take that.
This series could go all the way. Predators taking map 1. They look great, really. And Pain Gaming, I'm hoping they're going to go through some evolution. They're going to learn better, but we're going to get this lobby all sorted out to get into our map 2 of our hybrid map coming up next. And we're going to throw it to a quick break. So when we get back, map 2 of Pain versus Predators coming right up.
You wanna turn me off. You wanna flip the switch. I wanna break the lock. I know what makes you tick. We used to be so young and free. Yeah, baby, don't treat me like a machine. I could still be just what you need. No, baby, don't treat me like a machine. Wanna go to your apartment, take it back to where we started. We'll be everything you wanted. You wanted, you wanted. I know it could be perfect. I know it would be worth it. We'll be everything you wanted. You wanted, you wanted. baby, don't treat me like a machine. I could still be just what you need. No, baby, don't treat me like a machine. We used to be so young and free. Yeah, baby, don't treat me like a machine. I could still be just what you need. No, baby, don't treat me like a machine. Wanna go to your apartment, take it back to where we started. We'll be everything you wanted, you wanted, you wanted. And I know it could be perfect, and I know it would be worth it. We'll be everything you wanted, you wanted, you wanted, 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 you wanted, 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 you wanted, 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 you wanted.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And we do have some unfortunate news for you. So I'm going to read this directly from the big men at Blizzard. So, unfortunately, due to technical issues, Pain Gaming was unable to connect map 2, which would have been Eichenwald. And after the time allowed for issues and some really great sportsmanship from Predators Gaming allowed for an extended period of time in fair play, we gave an automatic map 2 win to Predators due to their lack of ability to connect Pain Gaming. Fortunately, the team was able to reconnect, and we are going to resume the series after this halftime. So it's going to be a shorter halftime, but that's a big deal actually for Pain, as they're going to enter the second half down 0-2. So Lukai, Predators looked really good on Lijiang Tower and potentially could have gotten to 2-0 themselves based on how they looked. Are they going to continue their momentum into maps 3 and 4, or do you think Pain Gaming is going to let this disconnect get to them a little bit?
So whenever you're trying to make an upset, and be clear that Predators winning this would be a big upset, you need a few things. You need your best player to be having one of the games of his life. Right now, Sam and Shockwave are absolutely doing that. And then you need to get into the other team's head. I think with a quick map 1 win and then these technical difficulties, I wouldn't blame Pain if they were starting to really feel the pressure. So can Predators take one of these last 2 maps and pull out their first win? I think absolutely.
So now I'm going to go to Lafana, a resident Pain expert. They looked kind of rough on rounds 2 and 3 on Lijiang. Round 1 wasn't, was definitely their best showing. Are they going to be able to take 2 games off of Predators to force a game 5?
Are things possible? Yeah, but you're definitely shaken going down into this next set. Again, Pain, they have to get 2 maps here. They've already dropped 1. So it's going to be a really awkward situation for them that, they're down 2-0. They've only played 1 map, which they lost. They have to get get themselves, collect themselves mentally and come back into this next map and just basically throw it all out mentally. Like, that's a huge part here. And I think for them to bring this back is going to be tough.
So the mental game is strong in Overwatch, very important. And I know 2 people have a great mental game when it comes to Overwatch. That is Lemon Kiwi and Hurix. We're going to be bringing you Volskaya, which is our 3rd map.
Welcome back, welcome back. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Predators started this season with only a 1-map win to Hephaestus in a map 4, and now they're up 2-0 against Pain Gaming. Yes, to give them credit, there was a forfeit situation for map 2, but they still took Lijiang Tower. That's still a lot of credit. We're here on Volskaya. Hurix, what do you see that's interesting?
Well, I mean, we're seeing double sniper already. Killer Leviathan both pulling that out for their defense, and it's going to be a reactive playstyle. This is exactly the same way that we saw it defended in our last series. They're going to be playing from that low ground. Mura's actually looks like he's DC'd here,
no.
so that, they lost that diva quickly. And there's the pause right there. So maybe having some of those same issues, I think.
A little bit of a, disconnect, not hopefully for Miraz, but I was going to say, he's feeding super hard. But Predators, let's talk about what we saw off the bat. We got Widow Tracer versus Double Sniper. I think this is a pretty strong setup from Pain Gaming. They don't look like they're really flexing off of this throughout the maps we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen, certainly some fair play from Leviathan. It seems like he does like to play a lot of those projectiles, obviously, and Predators have really done a good job of punishing mistakes, and I think creating situations where their DPS can actually shine, where they have an advantage. And I think a lot of those situations arise from the fact that Rampant Rhino has really stepped up in a big way. We already saw that Muras is out of play already as we jump back into the game, and that's going to create a big opening once again for Shockwave.
Yeah, already 2 picks for him. Sam finishing it off, and it's unfortunate. Mures is probably going to be part of the whole fight loss here for Pain Gaming, losing their tanks. Not really much to keep contesting this one, as Predators will capture point A, and they head into point B in a possible snowball situation with Killer now going on the Tracer.
And our analysts were talking a lot about tempo and momentum in the series, and I think this is a big point because now Predators Esports are off the back of a big pickup of that point A, very quick take against Muris having another technical difficulty. And I think this is where it starts to become an issue for Pain Gaming, trying to come back and battle back into this one with Predators Esports feeling very confident.
And strange also is Mures is usually the DPS player for Pain Gaming, now taking up the Diva role, but moving in here is a defensive Dragon Strike, warning off the snipers here of Predator Gaming. Leviathan will start to stabilize. Some nice shots coming in from Leviathan. Possible red scenario, Unreal's going to be behind cover, and you can see Leviathan and Shadow Song are engaging. They have to be careful here because Predators could respond.
And they're jumping right in off the back of that res as they were able to defend that, put some pressure onto Leviathan, and now he's going up top, and Sam actually does find the kill on a Shadow Song, and now a lot of pressure is just eliminated completely as both tanks lose their staying power, and Leviathan is already out.
And Predators are starting to respond. They've gotten the picks. They've started to just pressure this point. And even, another Dragon Strike here from Leviathan. Does this sort of split the point? And a Primal Rage from Shadow Song starts out, and another pause comes in. Now, I can't tell who's disconnected here, but Predators are certainly an advantage to get this point B with plenty of time in the time bank.
Yeah, definitely an auto pause. I think someone lost connection. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mirrors, but you can see him on the point there, so maybe he's active, maybe he's not. Well, we'll see as we jump right back into it. And he actually is going to be coming back into this one. I do believe he is. And we already see that Transcendence coming back down.
Lots of sustain coming in from Wings' Transcendence to keep the Primal Rage. Now Mures is back, thankfully not disconnected. But meanwhile, Predators have Shockwave sort of very happy at the back getting picks also. So this is not losable yet for Predators. Their tanks are a bit low, but their supports are still alive. It's Apollo somehow with the 3 cases in Yana we've talked about in a previous series. These off supports really contributing to the DPS department.
Killer was able to get into the backline, put some pressure onto Lucio. Lucio actually took that 1v1 directly. They do find the kill eventually, but I think if Unreal was able to make it over to the point, put some healing onto his tanks and insulate himself inside of his team, they might have been able to get that with a couple more seconds left on the clock. But despite that, Predators Esports still in a very, very good position. 5-16 is a great time to work with off of your first attack, and certainly when you're coming off of having 2 maps already under your belt, Pain Gaming still having some connection issues, apparently, it seems. This is a good position to be in if you're Predators Esports. This is a very good position to be in. So looking forward on their defense here, I'm definitely looking at some more enabling of Shockwave. I'm definitely looking at Rampant Rhino to be playing a little bit more defensively, a little bit more reactively, because one of the big question marks that we've seen is when they do go aggressive and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to be as synergized or as cohesive as what we've seen from some other teams in this region, and certainly as good as what we've seen from their reactive style that they've been playing today.
And I talked about Mures. I wonder if Mures is sort of struggling. He's the one mostly with the connection issues. And where is Fasty would be my question I would ask these teams, or at least Pain Gaming, because there's a lot to make up. There's a lot of synergy between the main tank and the off tank following their dives. And maybe this is why the dive from Pain Gaming is weaker than what we've usually seen.
Yep. I think that's a very fair point. I think that's actually probably one of the best points we could make about this current state of things right now with Pain Gaming kind of falling back. I mean, one of the big things about a dive style is making sure that your tanks are cohesive, making sure that they actually do things together, that they have great communication between one another. And while Mures might sometimes go into a tank role on certain maps and certain compositions, it's certainly not the same role that we see with Fasty, and that's a very exceptional player. You're talking about someone that made Final 12 for Brazil, so I think that is a really tough loss for them. Maybe he was one of the ones that had a connection issue early on that forced them to drop that map, so they forced this roster move over, and it's just not working out the same way that you would expect.
Hopefully it works out better on their upcoming attack. They have a lot of time to make up for it. 5-16, this was a snowball, and already a first pick for the defense will pick off Happy in a one-on-one trade, but you can't really go in without one of your main healers. Mirrors might be just trying to build some space, get them away from the main choke. Double sniper here for Pain Gaming, and only a one sniper here, so a lot of pressure here on Shockwave's shoulders to deal with two snipers and make sure he keeps an eye on Sam.
This is the thing, though. I mean, their tanks are still just under pressure all the time. Pain Gaming really struggling to keep them up. And while Shockwave did get rezzed back up, I mean, Predators Esports once again looking quite stable. So it's going to be tough for these tanks to get into position and actually create some space for their back line of Killer and Leviathan on those snipers.
It's very slow, but this is really favoring Predators who just want to burn as much time as possible. Pain Gaming just focusing on those picks, but it's Shockwave who's now 2-0 in the Widow duo versus Killer. And you would think that in two snipers versus one, Shockwave would have a much harder time winning these duels, but Leviathan has a Dragon Strike. He's got everybody in his sights on the point. Could be using it to split up or to keep it once things get a little dicey, and Sam goes to the very back with a Dragon Blade. Happy, not feeling too glad he was the target of that one.
Oh, that was such a nice kill at the end there too with that blade. Yes, they wind up taking Sam in the long run, but if they can push Rampant Rhino back, if they can push everybody else back, they might be able to get this res, and Rampant Rhino is doing a good job of that. But for now, they'll allow Sam to come back off of respawn instead. Being that he is on a Genji, he should be able to get back pretty quickly, certainly quicker than most, but nonetheless, we're going to be seeing them set back up. 2 minutes now down already for Pain Gaming on the defense right now, as they're looking to once again just stall this out.
Leviathan's been sitting on that Dragon Strike. I wonder when he's going to be using it. The Valkyrie still picks off Happy, not using the mobility to the best effect, but still a minute 40 left here. Pain Gaming have gotten at least self-destruct kill, and they got the Dragon Strike to just zone out this room, and it's forced Predators out, but Mikla beasting out on that Diva as a Transcendence to keep the only tank alive for this defense. It's going to stall this one out pretty nicely, but as soon as that Transcendence is done, Apollo is going to suffer for it. Self-destruct. Wings is hugging that self-destruct, buddy. I don't think that's how it works. You can't body block it technically, but Pain Gaming will start pressuring the point here. They should walk away with a tick.
Take a couple of kills, but it's just going to stall things out. Predators Esports just wants to make sure that they're just kind of pushing that lead ever further out, and we see a lot of resources being thrown out to Shockwave in particular, and despite the fact that we saw Pain Gaming starting out with Double Sniper where they needed to get that pick because, you know, their tanks weren't able to get in position, they switch over to the dive and things work a little bit better for them because they have a little bit more, you know, by their side to be able to push that and make that space happen.
Full dive here for Pain Gaming, and Pulse Bomb is gonna just hit the side of the shield to breaks that one. Predators now backing off. Shockwave now perfectly switching to the Brigida, and now the Dragon Blade comes out from Sam, going right after the supports, finds 2 kills already, and his opposing Genji player finishes off Happy. Such an unlucky Mercy player, and that will end the fight right here for Predators.
They're going to be backed off, staved off in a big way, Sam with the blade. I mean, not the most effective blade, but still able to get the job done, and that's what you need from your Genji in those situations, as he wasn't, you know, the most flashy of Dragon Blades that we've ever seen, but it still got those kills, still put them in a great position as he just went right through them a few times, and now we're seeing them attack once again, already up onto that high ground. They do manage to push off Predators Esports, but quickly we can see Leviathan onto the fair now, trying to find an opening, trying to find a way in with the rest of this Penguin Gaming squad.
And they're adapting to each other. The Sphere came out due to the Brigida, and now Brigida, the Shockwave, now back to the Widow to pressure that Pharah. But when you got a Pharah above you, are you going to have as much left? 6 health, and he gets finished off before trading with Apollo. Now Pain Gaming are starting to move up. They're putting bodies on the point. They get the DMAC on the Mikla, the Valkyrie from Happy. Not enough to save him. They would love to have Wings here with that Transcendence. Killer hits Mikla with the Pulse Bomb, and Pain Gaming look like they have the picks here, but the response from Predators is coming in, and Pain Gaming don't want to waste any more time. They're going to reset, but already at a huge disadvantage for Time Bank.
They're going to have to regroup. We have the Transcendence ready for Wings here, but it's just, I mean, it's just as well for Apollo, more or less here. And I mean, realistically speaking, while Sam is going to be the linchpin, I mean, with the blade pulling out, if they're not going to be able to deal with Wings early on, that Transcendence will come out, and it will still prove to be difficult for them to take this, as Sam diving in.
Oh,
We'll see as they are backing them up once again.
Sam
Still-
is so aggressive on this Genji though. Like he looked like he was diving in for the blade. You saw Pain Gaming start to disengage, and then they ended up getting punished for it. So Predators, Pain Gaming really on the back foot here.
Yeah, and looking at their attack, they have no offensive pressure, really. I mean, it really is going to be focused on the dive, making sure that they can execute perfectly, seamlessly, so that they can actually get in, find an early kill, and start something up. Because again, as I mentioned, we see Apollo and Sam already having those ultimates, so it is an advantage to them. It's really going to come down to, I think, their tank play to create the space and allow for Primal Rage to really kind of open things up for them.
And he doesn't see an opportunity here for that Dragon Blade. They're playing way too grouped up, and I like how Pain Gaming are at least protecting their supports a lot better. They know Sam is looking for the blade, and he has to dive out as Shockwave on the Brigidas, that was an earlier swap, is going to help ward off Killer and Leviathan, enable Sam even more with this blade as he self-destructs in right through the middle, but it's countered here from the Transcendence. It even allows Mirrors to get back into mech, so Predators now have lost 3 members, and this could be Pain Gaming's chance to close out the map.
They had an opportunity to stall with Apollo, but here's the thing. They're going to be coming back, and they're going to be able to regroup. We're seeing the reset from Mikla. If he can stay in the mech, if he can get back into it quickly, he will. And Apollo still has that. So now they need to look for kills.
Oh, and Unreal goes down. Apollo has to use the Transcendence to keep Mikla up, but still the DMech goes through. And now Rampant Rhino has to use the Primal to build some space, and maybe this Blade from Leviathan could shut things down, but hit that not going to be as useful against a Primal Rage. As you can see, Predators have officially shut down Pain Gaming, and in the last minute of play, even if Pain Gaming finished this one off, this is going to be so tough for them to pull through in extra innings.
And the other thing is that you need to be able to put pressure onto the Mercy in this situation. But here, I mean, we can already see that the Valkyrie is ready to go. So, I mean, Unreal is going to go right into the sky, likely to be very, very safe. You can't dive right on that. So your next option is going to be the Zenyatta. And the Zenyatta pulling back, throwing the Discord on you. You know, you still have that staving power of the instant stun from Shockwave on Brigida. This is going to be a very tough thing to dive in and find some efficacy early on.
And in the last 30 seconds of play, this will be the last fight for match point for Pain Gaming. But before they get closed out, but the last place team of Predators and a self-destruct from Mirrors, though, could start the victory here for them as they get onto the point. The Shockwave is low. Mikla is next on the target list. The Valkyrie from Unreal. Not sure if it's enough to heal all these members. Self-destruct from Mikla. Gonna zone only Leviathan off temporarily, but a lot of sustain left for Pain Gaming. A Primal Rage, a Valkyrie, and a Transcendence left. They don't even need it, as Predators could have one last push. 2 ticks left. We're in overtime. Predators having one last response. They'll start the Valkyrie, they'll start the rally as the Blade comes in to slice through all the extra health pools that Shockwave just tried to provide. And Predators, I mean, they're running out of options here. Lots of support ultimates now, both invested here from Pain Gaming, as this spells the end of Predators' defense. But in overtime, Pain Gaming, I've already mentioned, are at such a huge disadvantage, but at least they have another chance because they actually finished the map.
And this is such a good, you know, point for them right now, because on their second point attack, they really faltered. They continued to falter. You know, they didn't have those same connection issues that we saw them having on defense. Pain Gaming was able to kind of push through the same way that we would normally see it, and still Predators Esports was looking as good as ever. So yes, you know, this 2-0 does have an asterisk next to it, but I don't think that we should take too much away from Predators, if anything at all, because, you know, so far they've earned every W that they have next to them right now, in my opinion, because they are just playing better. They are the better team at the moment, and Shockwave, I think, is a big part of that. We've seen really, you know, a much more collected team, a much more put together team. This roster is really playing seamlessly together, something that we haven't seen much of so far. I mean, we're talking about a team that prior to this matchup only had 1 map win, and now we're staring down the barrel of what could be their 4th already. I mean, they could easily go 3-0 here. They have tons of time on the clock to be able to get that first tick on point A. I think they'll do it, and I think that we're going to be seeing Predators Esports taking that 3-0 right here.
And this will mean Pain Gaming will lose that second seed, most likely, going down 1-2. I mean, Isurus won their game, so it's all about how 2 kills going to go. And this is a dangerous situation for Pain Gaming in terms of standings. They can't really afford this 4-0 loss, especially against Predators, who are 1-7 before this match started. So Predators will have 5 minutes And this is match point. Pain Gaming didn't even pull out anything really super crazy for their defense to full hold this one. They just got to rely on mechanics, and you can see they're playing on the point to prevent any objective percentage to go in.
While they do stave off this first attack, you have to remember just how much time is available for Predators. And as they do take the kill onto Wings, if he's not going to be pulled back up, and with the pressure onto Mercy, I don't think that the res is going to come out at all. And they're still into that backline. Pressure is on the Discord and Mercy, but Happy still getting away. And in the meantime, Pain Gaming collecting some kills of their own.
And tons of picks went through. It looks like Pain Gaming still have the most members alive. Predators have to reset, but Pain Gaming have to be careful there. Happy's gotten a lot of focus here from Predators. And Predators will reset here. They'll have Apollo now on the Lucio, and Pain Gaming have at least a Pulse Bomb Dragon Strike to ward off the next push.
Yeah, they don't really have good combos necessarily, but here's the thing. If they're able to find picks, that's all they really need on this first point, given the spawn where it is, how far away it is. But look at that. What a way to start it off.
And that traps Rampant Rhino away from the rest of his supports for the quad kill from Leviathan. It only took one ultimate, and we're only down about a minute or so from the original time, and Predators making a couple swaps.
So now we're going to be seeing Shockwave going over to the Genji. They might actually go just for that straight up full dive, that traditional setup. Predators Esports now, you know, they've already lost about 2 minutes, but they have more than that still available. So still a lot of time for Predators Esports to close this one out. But I mean, with the way that we know Pain Gaming is capable of playing, this could very well get stalled out. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to do that, or perhaps Predators Esports with this dive will be able to close things out.
And this is an important engagement. If Killer wins this one, this will probably force Predators to reset. If Predators win that Tracer engagement, that's a lot of pressure onto the tanks, as Mikkel uses a self-destruct to take out Leviathan onto the point. It is resurrected. You see Pain Gaming now going after the backline, using that Primal Rage, and now just going after the wounded tanks of Predators. But they have to be careful here. Already half a tick earned here for the attacking team, and Shockwave gets low, separated from the rest of his supports, and Predators, bit of a mixed up push, and now Mura sends a self-destruct at the back. Isn't going to catch anyone running away from this fight, and Predators are down to their last 2 minutes and 40 to get the tick.
They need to start building up these ultimates. They need to just go ahead and just power through as best they can. They have time to generate the rest of these. They need to get that blade up. They need to get that Transcendence up as well. They need to get Rampant Rhino and Mikla clicking and back on the same page like we saw from before, but they need to also be putting some pressure out in the meantime. They need to force some things out. Leviathan, Killer, and Wings having those ultimates, they need to make sure that they deal with that quickly before they go for a push of their own.
And now they have to keep an eye on Killer. I don't think Sam's going to get resurrected here. And also Shockwave has a blade, so this would be able to make up for that initial pick. Looks like they want to reset, make sure Sam can get back. And he's going to get back pretty quick with the Tracer. Pain Gaming, though, have at least a Transcendence to ward off Shockwave's blade.
They're starting to get things up. They're starting to come through, but if they use everything in this push here, I think that could be a potential mistake unless they, you know, are able to get right into the back line. Leviathan already taken down.
Yeah, the Mercy was trying to keep Wings up, and now with that kill that will open up the Dragon Blade from Shockwave, goes right after the supports. No more healing, no more DPS from Pain Gaming, and that will be the 3-0 for Predators, and what an upset.
Yeah, I mean, Pain Gaming had ults, but they held on to them. I mean, Wings was put under pressure. We saw the Genji blade come out, and Wings was ready, but maybe not ready enough, because clearly he didn't throw that Transcendence out that possibly could have saved them. And they had taken up so much time already, but in the end, it was just not enough. And I think they really needed to use that ultimate there. They needed to get that Transcendence out to be able to stave off that blade.
And now this next map on Escort is going to be so important for Pain Gaming. I've already mentioned the 4-0 loss is going to hurt their map record a lot, and hopefully this still keeps them in a playoff position. And Predators, I mean, they were 1-7 before this. I don't know if this a 4-0 win will give them a chance into the later matches, but this is certainly a big surprise for them. And I think back on when Predators faced Hephaestus, Escort was the only map they had won before this match.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at, you know, where the standings are at right now and how we expected them to unfold, this really kind of throws a wrench in all of that. I mean, what we expected to happen is not at all it's not looking like it's going to end up like that, because while we still have Pain as a team that is certainly, you know, one of the better teams for sure, but Predator coming through and looking this good against a team like this, certainly, yes, they're is an asterisk next to it. Pain is playing without their typical roster setup where they have, Fasti in that diva position and that off tank role, and Mura is playing DPS. Yes, it's not exactly the same thing, and yes, they did have connection issues, but still, Pain Gaming is the lesser of the two teams in my opinion right now. Predator Esports is certainly deserving of where they're at, and because of that, the standings are going to look a little different now.
And it's so surprising to see where Pain Gaming is this season. Last season, they were undefeated. They were one of the big juggernauts coming into playoffs. And now they're struggling against a team like Predators. And I wonder if this is just an off day. I mean, how composed would you really be if you lost a map due to a forfeit? You got your tank disconnecting mid-map, which causes you to lose the point A and turn into a snowball. And it's how I just wonder how composed are Pain Gaming right now due to all these issues that are arising out of their control.
Yeah, and that comes down to, infrastructure and what's behind them, the guys that are, on the team as well, their attitudes and the way that they look at certain situations. And obviously we can't really look in on that kind of thing, but I imagine given, how things are unfolding right now, things aren't really looking good in their camp. They're probably, really at the brink's end at the moment, because I mean, if you think about it, a quick loss on Lijiang Tower, you go right into connection issues where you have to drop Eichenwald immediately, and then going into Volskaya, you have a situation where you're having to play your DPS player on your off tank. You don't have your star off tank player in the lineup at all, and then on Volskaya, you think it could be a situation where you draw it, and just at the last moment, you forget to use those ultimates, you forget to press that ability. And that allows them to take the map. And now you're sitting at a direct loss in the standings where you were in a good position prior to this. And now it's going to be very tough. And moving into a final map of Route 66, I think this is where we'll see them. I mean, they really have to bounce back if they want to feel confident about their next matchup, because you're talking about playing right now in Predators, the team that is easily talked about being the last place team in this group. And now you're going down 3-0. You need to take this map here to be confident moving forward.
And this is an interesting map also because Pain Gaming had won 3-0 against Black Dragons on Route 66. And also the same thing that Predators had full held or had a really solid defense and won Route 66 versus Hephaestus. So, both these teams are really strong on Route 66. But I think this is Pain Gaming's best chance to at least pick up a map win here.
And they need to figure out ways to deal with the DPS for Predators. They need to be able to deal with Shockwave in particular, because I think that's been a very big pain point for them. I mean, looking at the way that they have gone up against that Widowmaker in particular, I think that's been a problem. The way that they've been able to push out that Widowmaker and have him take even some simple angles and still win those duels out, that's really enabled them in a big way. And as we can jump into the game right now, we already see that they're going to be going for that double sniper setup for their attack. Shockwave, of course, back onto that Widowmaker, and I think that could prove to be a problem for Pain Gaming if they don't have a way to deal with that.
It looks like Fasti is back into the game.
That's
will be subbed out, and that's going to be maybe crucial. And I like his pick also with the Brigida, maybe expecting a dive here from Predators, and that will start a sort of counter dive or an anti-dive to Predators running that. And they're also running a double sniper, as you already mentioned, Leviathan being the only sniper on the other side.
And I think this means that they're going to want to play, more tank heavy, especially on their attack as well with this swap up. We'll see if that is going to work out against the double sniper. And I think that is a smart play for them, because that might, turn away some of the pressure that they're getting from the Widow already.
They managed to get that resurrect, and Predators were trying to dive on that to prevent that crossfire situation with Predators, with the Hanzo on the left and the Widow on the right. And they managed to take the high ground away from Pain Gaming. But with a death ball here, you can see they're at the bottom of Big Girls. And anyone who comes even near them is going to eat that hammer from Shadow Song. But that means they're not touching the payload, which is a lot of free distance given to Predators. But Predators are just keeping them trapped like cage animals.
The longer that they're stalled and held inside of the bottom of Big Girls here, the more time that's wasted. And Predators Esports will take this all day and night. Yes, they got a pick, but it's easily going to be res back up, and they're still stuck in there.
Yeah, this is favoring Pain Gaming a lot. They're stalling the payloads somehow. I've never seen this strategy before, but it's working. You can see no one from Predators really wants to start anything. You need these snipers to come up from behind the shield of Pain Gaming, get some picks onto the supports. And Pain Gaming are meanwhile have built energy. They built ultimates, an Earth Shatter and a Graviton. It traps the Primal Rage and a Valkyrie, but there is no follow-up from that. Pain Gaming now have to start retreating. They use the Dragon Strike to clear the payload and now trying to rotate towards the backside. They push Predators against a wall.
This is, you know, a sloppier approach from Pan Gaming, but still, it's gonna get the job done, it seems, as they are able to find a couple of kills. Rampant Rhino gets pulled back up, and we'll have to see if they can take out that sniper in the backline, but Shockwave again getting the better end of the deal.
Leviathan playing a little bit too predictable there. Left, to the right, to the left, and Shockwave is not even done with the picks. Leviathan gets res, gets the revenge onto that one, but meanwhile, it's the defense that have gotten and stabilized onto the payload thanks to this death ball.
A lot of time taken off, but Pain Gaming able to win that one out, and Predators Esports, who was stuck under Big Earls, allowed themselves to lose out. And what was like, I mean, basically about 2 minutes that they wound up getting taken away from themselves. And you have to, I say it that way in particular because they did it to themselves. They never pressed that gas pedal. They mistimed, I think, a couple of defensive utilities, in particular the one from their Zarya. You know, that really could have enabled them to get into a position where they could actually jump onto the payload and have some lethality as soon as they do it as well, with a very charged up Zarya, but they just never really did that.
And now that the Ferret is out, they're going to be trying to get angles around and even switching to their own death ball. Shield versus shield. I had said that I favor Rampant Rhino in the Ryan matchup, as Dragon Strike gets countered there from a Transcendence from Apollo, but it's Pain Gaming in the upper hand. Leviathan absolutely popping off on the Hanzo.
This could be their moment, though. I mean, yes, things haven't really clicked for Predators Esports on their attack. It's been a lot more disconnected than what we're used to seeing from them over the last 2 maps that we've seen them. This is looking a lot more like the Predators that we've seen in the past, and I hope that we can kind of see them catch back up to where they've been able to get themselves to, because that's the more exciting version of this team, obviously, and they have their ultimates coming up. Rampant Rhino needs to get a big Earth Shatter, I think, here to take on Shadow Song. He needs to win this battle if they want to cap this point.
I think the Shatter's gonna decide the winner of this one, and how does he catch that? It was perfectly timed with Fasty's shield bash. Pain Gaming are seconds away from full holding Predators on Route 66, putting them in such a good position to at least take a map, but now the ultimates have started to come out from Predators, mainly that pin from Rampant Rhino and the Dragon Strike to clear all this space. Pain Gaming don't have tanks to re-engage, as the Dragon Strike has to be used before Killer has his Graviton. And could this be enough to get picks? It looks like Killer's the only one left. Leviathan's about to get staggered. And just when we thought Pain Gaming was going to full hold, Predators managed to get point A in overtime.
Barely able to take that one. I mean, such a good setup too from Shadow Song, but they just didn't have the ability to close out some of those kills that they really needed to. I mean, the pressure needed to go onto Rampant Rhino, and they just didn't have it. That Rhine battle may not have looked like it decided things, but it really kind of did still. It really did, because with Rampant Rhino still staying up and being you know, effective in his ability to create space for the rest of his team, it was what really allowed them to push back out of that one. And what a way to start out the next fight too, with that barrage.
Huge, just waiting, knew exactly where they were going to come from. And with that, they should get halfway to point B, but you see Pain Gaming gotten a few picks, and mainly Predators are going to stabilize here, but Pain Gaming will be coming back with Graviton Dragon Strike combo. That's going to be deadly.
I'm definitely looking at that to come together. I mean, they need this here to make a defense. They were almost able to get that full hold. I think this is going to be able to be another statement moment for them coming back out of this one. However, Apollo with this Transcendence could stave off some of this, and they do have a Dragon Strike coming out of their own already.
Oh, it's huge! Sam with the quad! This is the second ultimate Predators have used to completely shut down a doorway of entry Pain Gaming were trying to come from, and Pain Gaming not expecting that one.
Not at all. I mean, yes, they had the Dragon Strike combo of their own with the Graviton, but Sam being so aggressive, he was able to get that off very quickly, and a lot of times that's what it takes. You have to be very aggressive with those ult uses, and you have to be able to get yours out first to have the ability to take some of these fights, and that's exactly what we saw. Great stuff from Sam.
Pain Gaming are looking for the Graviton. They launch it right in. Graviton catches everybody. Apollo uses the Transcendence. Isn't enough. Already 3K going through. Shockwave responds with his Junkrat swap from earlier. And it still looks like the team wipe that Pain Gaming will stop the defense for now.
Everything here for Predators Esports is just icing on the cake because they really should have been full held. I mean, Pain Gaming was in a great position on that last fight to make that hold. They lost a lot of time for themselves on their first attack as well, just staying under Big Earls. But now they've been able to push out, get that second point, and they have an opportunity here as we already see the Graviton coming down.
Wings use the Transcendence, doesn't keep them up. No, it still burns through it, but now this will allow them to disengage. But Rampant Rhino coming in like a storm, already handling the opposing Reinhardt. They will get halfway to point C with 1 minute left after, like you said, they should have gotten full held on point A. Now they're in a very big possibility of finishing Route 66.
On top of that, they also have the tire and nothing really to defend against it. I mean, other than just trying to seek it out, and here it comes. Shockwave pulling that one through. Can he find a pick here?
Oh, it's gonna be big. It's followed up with the Dragon Strike, and nice Fire Strike from Shadowsong lures that off, and even the Dragon Strike didn't have any effect. So it's Rampant Rhino up to him.
Oh,
a
that's big.
shatter, and there it is. It gets booped away. Would have liked to hammer some guys a little bit more in the forehead, but now they get hit with a Graviton here from Pain Gaming, and they don't even use the Dragon Strike from Leviathan. They want to keep that for the next fight.
I don't know if there's a way Predators Esports can actually come back into this next fight and actually get this cap in their favor, unless Apollo is able to stay alive long enough to maintain composure and stay in there to be able to have that Transcendence. They need that momentum shifter, and he's already taken out. They need the res here.
Oh, it's not gonna happen though. Dragon Strike divides the tanks away from the rest of the team. Rampant Rhino is down. Apollo, you needed him for the Transcendence. Predators have 5 seconds to touch the payload, and no one's gonna be even close. So this is where Predators are going to be stopped. But to their credit, they made it past point A, which looked like an accomplishment on its own.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, to their credit, they got a lot more than it really looked like they were going to be able to achieve. So they come away with almost that third point, but now on their defense, they really have a lot of work ahead of them as Pain Gaming looks to be a little bit back in their stride. I think. I mean, they're certainly looking like they're back to being the Pain Gaming we are used to seeing, and we're gonna see as well Killer over onto the Widowmaker. I said initially that we were likely to see a little bit more tank play here, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. It looks instead like they're going to go for that double sniper start, and Predators Esports actually going with a I was curious to see the Orisa, especially with these two supports, because they started off with a Zen Lucio setup, but they swapped the Lucio after pushing out, and now they have the Mercy, which makes a lot more sense with this tank lineup, certainly to be able to combat this double sniper with one of their own.
And what's different is it's double sniper versus double sniper this time. And last time I think the defense only ran one, and they had like a fair or something, and it just put a lot of pressure onto Shockwave to finish things off. But defense now with the double sniper behind the Orisa and a Diva, and Pain Gaming coming out with the full dive. So expect Pain Gaming to see this big girl setup and to dive into them. But I'm just curious to see if maybe the Reinhardt Zarya would come out again, because that swap happened later on in point A.
I imagine that it could certainly come out because it's something that works for them, I think. And especially when you consider you're going up against a Hanzo and an Orisa and a Diva that are going to be stationed right next to each other, insulating the healers right next to them, that the dive is going to be kind of tough to pull off unless you, of course, can get the picks onto what has been a fantastic Widow and Shockwave, and Sam being right there as well. I mean, they really need those opening picks to allow this dive to work. Otherwise, I think they are going to have to make that swap, as you say, over to the Reinhardt Zarya. That might be a more consistent threat for them.
And Predator Esports, you know, they're using those sonic arrows to see if there's any flanks coming in through the cave, and Predator Esports happily sitting on top of Big Girls. They're probably going to give up some free distance on this card. You can see Pain Gaming want to finish this fight off early, going after the snipers that are behind these shields. Predators really trying to peel for their supports, but they already lose Apollo, and they get the DMAC onto Mikla. So Predators really on the back foot of this one. Pain Gaming have already won this fight, gotten the card halfway there. Point A looks like a breeze, and if you remember, this costed Predators several minutes on their offense to get through.
That delicate touch from their tanks, Pain Gaming, I mean, that was beautifully done, exceptionally executed from Pain Gaming, especially from their tank line to be able to get in there. Yes, there was some good play from their DPS to close out some of those kills, but I think it really comes down to their ability to stay alive and still support that mid line to be able to find those kills in that situation against what was a very, I mean, tough front-loaded threat in that Orisa, you know, having the D.Va there as well and the Hanzo. So now as they already have that first point cap, they have over 5 minutes, of course, as well. Now we'll see them go through the streets phase. And again, Shockwave actually, it's going to be Killer on the upper end of that deal as we start things off.
And now Shockwave getting resurrected, had just used Infra Sight earlier. And Pain Gaming, they have started their dive, but they already have the DMAC on the Fasty. Shadow Song goes down, doesn't want to use the Primal Rage quite yet. But now it's a huge stagger onto Pain Gaming, who haven't really preset into a comfortable position as a self-destruct to completely clear out the payload, and Fasty peeked out in the middle of that, so he's going to lose his mech yet again. And Predators are really holding a forward defense at the moment.
Well, we see Miklo lose his mech, and down goes the Mercy as well. So Pain Gaming afforded a lot of extra space to start getting things done, and Shockwave likely to fall as well, as Pain Gaming put themselves in the driver's seat for sure as they hold down that gas pedal, and they are not letting off at all. Look at the ultimates that are stacked up here for Pain Gaming. They have almost everything available. Certainly soon they will have everything available, as Inversight gives them the early vision, and I believe they are set up to be able to easily take this second point and have a ton of time at their disposal to move through this last section of the map.
And just a few more meters to go. Killer has the Infra Sight, and now 2 Dragon Strikes seal the complete other sides of the lanes. Leviathan taking out Rampant Rhino as he comes out of the gate. And could Predators really resurrect this one? Doesn't even look like it. Predators are getting picked off. Maybe the resurrect goes through here, but Pain Gaming are just on fire on their offense, and they made it through point B without much contest as they head into point C with 5 minutes left. All they have to do is finish the map to take this final map 4.
I mean, that was Pain Gaming's point to take. All they really had to do was just throw a couple of ults out and just walk over to the payload and collect their free point. I mean, they had that kind of advantage. They had that kind of setup. They had that positioning. But already Sam, with the swap onto Genji, has had a profound effect as he took out Killer. Shockwave was really struggling to deal with him so far, and they found a different way to do it.
Oh, self-destruct sent right into the back along with the Dragon Strike. So much is invested here for Pain Gaming, and now Predators are just dying on the payload. They just want to stall this one out as much as possible. Rampant Rhino had just used the Primal too, so how much sustain does Predators really have left? They only have a Transcendence, and the yellow box of victory is right there with 4 minutes left.
Apollo holding on to that Transcendence. They really need to hang on here so that they can get that Dragon Strike, get that Dragon Blade online. You need that lethality to find those kills and push back the offensive side of Pain Gaming. And now we see them jumping in. Rampant Rhino already taken down here.
Oh, this is big. They've dragged out the Transcendence from Apollo. This opens up Sam, who's trying to go after Valkyrie. Happy in the Sky is going to have a tough time, though. And now Shadow Song has contested him. So this blade from Sam was completely shut down. Maybe the Predator's Dragon Strike could clear out this payload, but Pain Gaming, their tanks are alive and well. But with the 2 picks already in Predator's favor, Pain Gaming need to finish this one off quick. 3 minutes and 20 left. You can see Pain Gaming want to go for a reset. They want to have all their 6 members alive for this final push.
Predators had to use basically everything that they had. I mean, realistically, everything that they did have to be able to push off that attack, and still 3 minutes on the board. Pain Gaming having a lot of options, especially offensive options of their own from their DPS players. This could spell defeat right here and right now.
You see Sam just looking for that early pick. He wants to stall Pain Gaming even more. And This is the play. I mean, Pain Gaming have so many ultimates right now, and meanwhile, Unreal has gotten Pulse Bomb, so that's a lot of healing gone here for Predators. So they send the Self-Destruct, they send the Dragon Strike. Predators, all they can do is die on the payload, hope for reinforcements to come in to stall this payload one more time. Pain Gaming even have a Primal Rage. They have the Valkyrie. The yellow box of victory is in sight. Predators have their, actually a Valkyrie from Unreal touching, but the Dragon Strike was sent in, but no one was there to stop the payload as Pain Gaming at least finished this series off in a 3-1 loss.
And that's the map that they needed to take. I mean, going forward, I talked already about it a little bit, how, they need that confidence. They need to make sure that they're still pushing out the fact that they're a solid team. And, taking a 4-0 loss to Predators certainly would have hurt their confidence long term. And I really expect that they'll be able to bounce back from this, but still a tough loss against Predator Esports, who looks much better than what we've seen from previous weeks and previous seasons.
Look like they stayed composed enough to go into map 4 on a nicer foot. It's, disconnects and forfeits, and you got, at least they brought Fasty back, so that looked better, but it's tough to say where Pain Gaming will go through this season after losing to Predators. Hopefully this is just an off week and we'll see them look better. But to close up our final thoughts about this match, we'll bring back the Broadcast.gg desk of Boop and Friends. Take it away.
Boop and Friends, indeed. I say they're Biffle's best friends on the desk, indeed. We have Lefon and Mukai coming at you, and we're going to break down this second half. So unfortunate for Pain when it comes to those disconnecting issues, and maybe that kind of got to them. And I'm kind of wondering, Lefon, if the disconnecting issues didn't end on map 2.
I mean, Lemon called it out. You bring Fasty in for that 4th map. It's something that we haven't seen before. We highlighted Murray's. Murray's was on the World Cup roster, likely to begin this year. That's not normally a player that you kind of sub out. So the fact that it goes to map 4, you don't have that in your back pocket. Murray's, of course, on Volskaya, not playing, the role that we kind of expect him to. That was also another thing to highlight. So is that the case? You definitely have to ask that question. And unfortunately for Pain Gaming, though they do take that map 4, they are in a really awkward position moving forward.
So, Mukai, my other question to you is, you were pretty high on Predators coming in here, especially with your love of Sam. So I'm going to give you some frame of reference. So last year, they were 11th out of 12th and went 5-15 and had to go through relegation. Pain did not lose a game in group stages and lost 3 maps overall, losing to Isurus in the semifinals last season. What is the difference? How did Predators pull this upset off, Mukai?
So I think it came down to going back to that first map, the very first point on Control Center, Predators lost. When they went to the other 2 points, though, they found a composition that worked and they didn't switch off of it. Map 2, map 3 of Lijiang, they stayed the same the entire time. They were able to push through, get those 2 caps, win Lijiang. And I think even though we weren't able to see an Eichenwald map after that, I think that early map win did wonders for their confidence. To me, it looks like Predators is a team that plays off of their confidence extremely well. They're a very momentum-heavy team with all the swaps they like to do. And though you could see them starting to get, I think, a little bit tired on the final map, a little bit of the coordination was off. We saw Shockwave with the concussion mine kind of spoil a good Earth Shatter there. I think that's just what it comes down to, is momentum and the confidence that Predators was able to get after that first map.
Do you think that Predators is going to be able to continue this into their next games? Do you think this is just, hey, this is a bad day for Pain, this never happened, this isn't a good representation of either team, or did Predators look good?
Predators did look good. We don't know how good is because of Pain's probable network issues. Again, like we saw Murray's have to come out for Fasty. So it's hard to know how much we can take from this. But I think Predators has to tell themselves it was all them. We can build on this. They've got some real tough matches in the coming up last 2 weeks, but they've got a win to build off of now.
And then last question before we move on to our next game, Lefon, what were some bright spots from Pain? I know that we talk very, very highly of Leviathan, but when he's cold, someone needs to come pick up his steam and pick up the rest of the slack. Who is that going to be, in your opinion, for Pain?
It's such a hard thing to say, because on this Pain as a whole was just super awkward today. It was a very we don't want to you don't want to ever blame your technology or blame, outside factors, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the players. It comes down to everything being ready. But you cannot discount the fact that it was just a really awkward day for Pain. They just didn't have the resources that they needed to even get into the match. Never mind play the match out. I think that looking at the last map of the day, Route 66, that was a that was a different team entirely. Pain was hands above the competition there. Predators not able to contest really, and we saw that. Like, I mean, there was a couple of cases they nearly got held on first, they got held on third, and then it was a steamroll through the rest of the map on Pain's side. So I think Pain, you just throw away the fact that you chalk it up to just technological difficulties if that's what it was, and then move on. It was just call it an awkward week and take your lumps and come back in the next one.
So this is amazing in terms of Group B parity. We thought the top 3 seeds were locked, but with Pain going down 3-1 against Predators today, Group B is just as open as Group A is outside of Brazil Gaming House. And the reason why I say that is there are no undefeated teams left in Group B. Black Dragons did just drop a map. Predators did just win their game, so it's anyone's game. This makes our next game, Hephaestus versus 2Kill, even that much more important. Please check it out here after the break. Boop and Ham are going to be bringing you that cast. We'll have a new desk for you as well, but we'll see you soon.
You wanna turn me off. You wanna flip the switch.